మీ ఉద్యోగ సాధనలో మీకు తోడుగా
మీ S&S పబ్లికేషన్స్.
To give you definitely maximum benefit, so that's why watch till the end this video so that you can understand whatever the key points that are going to be discussed here. Okay, so now from zoology we will have an important topic called the functions of liver in this particular video. So if you take the liver, we know that liver can act as an important organ, important gland. In fact, it is the largest gland in the human body. And this liver is involved in several metabolic pathways also. In human body, it can perform or it can act as a multi-purpose organ also. Okay. So now, if we come to the functions of this liver, we can link the functions of the liver to different metabolic activities that are going on in the human body. Before going to know about these functions, let us take some of the key points that are related to the liver. And we know liver weighs about 1200 to 1500 grams. So in kilograms, if you take 1.2 to 1.5 kilograms, and liver is the largest organ of the human body, and liver also can be considered as the largest chemical factory of the human body. Largest chemical factory of the human body. and liver can be called the multi-purpose organ of the human body. Multi-purpose organ of the human body. Like this, several metabolic pathways, the liver has got direct contact or direct connection. Now, in order to understand all these functions, I have made very clear and I have made it very easy by dividing all the functions into 5 important categories, right? Now, if you take the functions of the liver can be divided into 5 important categories, okay? The first one is liver is involved in secretion of various substances. So, that is the function of secretion. Then liver is involved in synthesis of various substances. That is the second important category. The third one is it is involved in several metabolic activities. Okay, that is the third functions of the liver. Then if we come to the fourth function, liver is involved in the storage of various substances. So, that is the fourth functions of the liver. Then if we come to the fifth one, special functions, okay, special functions, okay. So, these are the 5 subcategories. Now, let us take first one, secretion. This liver, we know it is a largest gland, I said. First of all, what is meant by a gland? A gland is nothing but a tissue. So, this particular tissue releases 2 types of proteinaceous chemicals. One is hormones, another one enzymes. Enzymes can act as biocatalysts, whereas the hormones can act as chemical messengers of the body. Here, the gland that releases enzymes are called duct glands, which are also called exocrine glands, whereas the glands that produces hormones are called endocrine glands. Okay. Now, here liver is nothing but an exocrine gland. In fact, it is the largest gland of the human body, largest exocrine gland of the human body, right? So, that is why this particular gland releases important digestive juice called bile juice. So, this bile juice does not contain enzymes. Even though it does not have any enzyme, but still the bile juice is considered as the digestive juice, because this bile juice contains 2 important salts that are required for the process called emulsification of fats. Okay, emulsification of fats. So, what do you mean by emulsification? Conversion of a large fat molecules into small globule like forms. Don't think that a large fat small globule, not like that. Here in the fatty acids or fats chain, the carbon chain, okay, here the terminal bonds are broken by the action called emulsification. So, that means in the emulsification, the terminal bonds of the fat molecule will be broken, so that lipase enzyme can be easily act on that, convert those fats into fatty acids. So, that particular process only called as what? Emulsification of fats. So, in this particular mechanism, 2 important salts that are there in the bile juice are involved. So, those are nothing but sodium glycolate, sodium tarcholate, sodium glycolate, sodium tarcholate. This is also called sodium deoxycholate. So these two salts contains sodium as well as potassium ions also. So these are involved in the emulsification of fats and these are secreted by the liver along with the bile juice. Okay. So these two salts very much required for the emulsification of fats, and I want to make it very clear. If mastication occurs in the buccal cavity, carbohydrate digestion is initiated. If churning occurs in the stomach, protein digestion is initiated. If emulsification occurs, fat digestion will be initiated. So like this, in a stepwise and a sequential manner, the process of digestion will be carried out. So final nutrient that is going to be digested is fats, that will be done with the help of the bile salts secreted by liver, right? Then if we come to the another important secretion function, this liver is involved in the releasing of triglycerides. So especially by using this glucose or the carbohydrate related components, it produces number of triglycerides. So triglycerides are also secreted by the liver. Clear? Then this liver is also involved in the secretion of a natural anticoagulant called heparin. So this heparin is very much required in order to avoid clotting of blood when blood is in blood vessels. That's why this heparin is called natural anticoagulant. We know that once the blood comes out of the blood vessel, it has to be clotted within 3 to 6 minutes period or span of time. But when blood is in blood vessels, it should not be clotted. So that can be avoided with the help of this particular substance called heparin. So that is about the functions of the liver in relation to this particular category, that is secretion. Then if we come to the synthesis, this liver synthesizes various types of substances in the body. Especially this liver is involved in the synthesis of albumin and globulin. So these two are the plasma proteins. These are synthesized by liver and stored in the plasma. So we know that this albumin protein is the most abundant protein present in the blood plasma, and this albumin is very much required for the osmotic regulation or osmotic balance, and it gives colloidal nature to the blood, so that if there is a deficiency of albumin in the blood, it may lead to a condition called edema. Edema means the swelling of body parts, especially in legs and hands. This blood get deposited or fluid get deposited because of less or because of the deficiency of a protein called albumin. So that condition is called edema. And here remember, when valves of the veins, valves present in the veins does not work properly, also edema condition occurs. But another condition there for edema, related to edema, that is less or deficiency of albumin in the blood also may cause edema. So this edema is very common in elder people and also a pregnant woman. Clear? Then if you come to this globulin, it is involved in the production of antibodies. So these two proteins are synthesized by a liver and stored in the blood plasma, right? Then if we come to the synthesis functions, so this liver is also involved in the synthesis of various substances. Especially this particular liver is very much required in order to carry out or in order to perform various functions in the body. In relation to that, these two important proteins are very much required in the body. Clear? So that's about the synthesis of liver functions, related to synthesis, the functions of the liver. Then if we come to this metabolic activities, so this liver is involved in several metabolic activities. Let us see what are those various types of metabolic activities. Here the liver is involved in a process called glycolysis. glycogenesis. And liver is also involved in glycogenolysis. Liver is also involved in the process called gluconeogenesis. Liver is also involved in a process called lipogenesis. Okay? So, glycogenesis, glycogenolysis, gluconeogenesis and lipogenesis. Apart from these, liver also take parts in Coricori cycle. Coricori cycle. Liver also involved in Ornithine cycle. Okay. So, now let us see one by one. What is this glycogenesis? If you take these three, that is glycogenesis, glycogenolysis, gluconeogenesis, these three functions that are performed by the liver are in connection with carbohydrate metabolism. Carbohydrate metabolism, or you can consider these three as glucose regulating metabolic activities. Glucose regulating metabolic activities. Now, let us take first one. If you take the literal meaning of the word glycogenesis, means what? Glycogen is going to be produced. So, the production of glycogen. So, how this glycogen will be produced? We know that excess glucose present in the blood will be converted into glycogen with the help of a hormone called insulin. Okay. So, this particular process of conversion of excess glucose into another important a polysaccharide called glycogen, and we know that glycogen is the reserve food in animals. Okay. And the amount of glycogen will be more in adults compared to children. Clear? So, in such a way, this particular excess glucose will be converted into glycogen in presence of a hormone called insulin occurs in the liver. So, that is called glycogenesis. Okay? Conversion of excess glucose into glycogen. And often this glycogen is called animal starch. Okay? Right. So, that is the first one. The second one, glycogenolysis, means in the first process, excess glucose is converted into glycogen with the help of a hormone called insulin. Now, in the second step, whenever we require, okay, or whenever there is a deficiency of glucose in the blood, whenever there is a condition called hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia, hypo means low, glycemia means glucose. Hyperglycemia, hyper means high amount of glucose in the blood. So, whenever there is hyperglycemia, this particular process called glycogenesis. Whenever there is hypoglycemia, the less amount of glucose in the blood, so this process will be carried out. That is glycogenolysis, means glycogen will be broken down. Okay, glycogen lysis breakdown. So that what happened? The glycogen is converted back to glucose. So this occurs in presence of a hormone called glucagon. Okay, so these two hormones are produced from the islets of Langerhans of pancreas. Okay, I am not going to that. Just remember insulin and glucagon, right? So these two are involved in this glycogenesis as well as glycogenolysis. Then if you take the third one, gluconeogenesis, glucose genesis formation or synthesis. So here what happened? This particular method or in this particular metabolic pathway, glucose will be generated from any compound, either even from the protein, either even from the fats, okay, even from other substances also, apart from carbohydrate related compounds. From any organic compound, glucose production occurs in when there is emergency. Okay. So in emergency conditions, this liver is involved in the conversion of any substance into glucose, so that the glucose will be added to the body, right? So that particular process is called gluconeogenesis. Then next one is called lipogenesis. Here lipogenesis, generally the fats are called lipids. That's why lipogenesis means the synthesis of lipids or fats. Generally this process will be carried out in presence of liver from fatty acids, that is synthesis of fats either from fatty acids or from glycerols. Okay. So the fatty acids and glycerols will be converted back into fats in a process called lipogenesis. This will be carried out by the liver. Then the fifth important function, if you take the metabolic activity, that is Coricori cycle. So what is this Coricori cycle? Generally we know that this particular liver is involved in special functions, as we already mentioned. Among them, one of the important special function is nothing but this Coricori cycle. So why this name has given Coricori? So for the first time, this metabolic pathway has explained by two important scientists. One is called Ferdinand Corey. And another scientist called Corey. Since these two scientists have discovered this metabolic path, so this particular cycle is called Coricori cycle. And remember, these two scientists in the year 1947, okay, they also awarded with the Nobel Prize for their outstanding contribution. Then what will happen in the Coricori cycle? We know that our skeletal muscles, nothing but striated muscles. Okay. So these muscles which are there in your hands and legs, or these muscles are also called voluntary muscles, because their function is under our control. So these particular muscles will undertake anaerobic process or anaerobic respiration. So during anaerobic respiration, no oxygen availability. So at that particular time, the glucose is incompletely oxidized and produces an important chemical called lactic acid. Okay, lactic acid. So this lactic acid gets deposited in the muscle cells and causes a muscle cramp. So to avoid this muscle cramp or fatigue condition, okay, liver takes up or liver carries an important metabolic path called Coricori cycle. In this particular cycle, this lactic acid which gets deposited in the muscle cells, especially the striated muscle cells, okay, will be converted into acetyl-CoA and will be added to the blood. In such a way, this particular mechanism will be carried out in presence of liver. That particular metabolic cycle is called Coricori cycle. Okay. So the conversion of this lactic acid into acetyl-CoA, so that it will be added or it will be involved in TCA cycle, that is tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay. So in such a way, the process will be carried out. So sorry, citric acid cycle, we can say that. Okay. So citric acid cycle, what happened? The particular glucose gets oxidized, releases carbon dioxide, then remaining after that electron transport chain will be carried out, then energy liberation will occur in the form of ATP. So in such a way, this particular compound will be converted into another compound by a process called Coricori cycle. Since these reactions will be carried out in a cyclic manner, this particular metabolic reaction is called Coricori cycle. Okay. So this is also, remember, 1947, this called Ferdinand Corey and Corey, they got Nobel Prize also. Clear? And here the important bit here, lactic acid, which causes muscle cramp. Okay. Then that is about the important or importance of this Coricori cycle. The next sixth one is called Ornithine cycle. We know that liver is involved in the detoxification of various substances. especially it removes amine group from the proteins. Okay. So, and convert those components are the most poisonous component, that is ammonia into urea. So, here the conversion of ammonia into urea only called as what? Ornithine cycle. And if you take this ornithine cycle, the first compound generated in this cycle is ornithine. That's why this particular cycle is called ornithine cycle. But actually this particular ornithine cycle was discovered by Krebs and Henseleit. Okay. So, Krebs and Henseleit, both the scientists revealed the cyclic pathway of this ornithine cycle. That's why it is also called Krebs-Henseleit urea cycle. Okay. So, Krebs-Henseleit urea cycle is generally called ornithine cycle. Here what happened? The ammonia is converted into urea. Okay. Ammonia is converted into urea. So, that is why it is called urea cycle. This ammonia is a very dreadful or most poisonous substances. So, that particular substance is converted into urea and it will be sent to the kidneys along with urine. This urea will be sent out. Okay. So, that particular cycle is called what? Ornithine cycle. Ornithine cycle. Right. Then related to this also, you can take one more important phenomena here. Ornithine cycle is possibly takes place in liver as well as up to certain extent in the kidney also. This is additional point you remember. Then another lipogenesis, just now I told you. So, this lipogenesis can occur in the liver as well as a special kind of fatty tissue called adipose tissue. So, in the adipose tissue also lipogenesis can occur, not only in the liver, right. So, those two key points also remember. Then in relation to this particular mechanism called Coricori cycle and Ornithine cycle, we can have some more additional points here. The persons who are taking alcohol, we know that alcohol is a fermented product. That means because of the incomplete oxidation, alcohol is produced. So, this particular alcohol will be converted into acetaldehyde, then acetyl-CoA, like that. Whatever the alcohol that enters into our body will be converted into various substances and it will be added to the blood, so that any problem will not occur in the body. Because of this particular mechanism, okay, the alcohol is unable to produce the poisonous substances. Otherwise, from the alcohol, the poisonous compounds may be generated and it may lead to liver cirrhosis also. But here, up to certain extent only, liver can convert this alcohol into various substances and it will be added to the blood, like acetyl-CoA, like that. But sometimes, or when excess alcohol consumption occurs, definitely it may lead to liver cirrhosis and finally it may lead to even death also. Okay. So, but remember here, either alcohol or any other fermented product or any other incompletely oxidized substance will be converted into various chemicals with the help of liver. In such a way, this liver will act as a detoxifying organ in the body. Okay. And liver also acts against aflatoxin substances. Okay. Aspergillus flavis, the fungi which produces the aflatoxin, can act as a carcinogenic agent, that means cancer causing agent. Such substances will be reduced with the help of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum that is there in the liver cells or hepatocytes. Okay. So, that is about some of the additional key points that you have to remember in relation to this ornithine cycle and Coricori cycle, right. That is about the third important functions of the liver. Then if we come to the fourth one, the storage functions of the liver. So, this liver is involved in the storage of various types of vitamins. Okay. So, what vitamins are stored by the liver? So, here vitamin A, nothing but the retinol. We know that in all plant products, okay, this will be present in the form of a chemical compound called carotene. So this carotene is converted into vitamin A and it will be stored in the liver. Then vitamin D, cholecalciferol, ergocalciferol, like that the two components are there. So this synthesis also, that is from excess cholesterol, this vitamin D will be synthesized, so and it will be stored in the liver, and we know the chemical name of vitamin D is calciferol. Okay, and this liver is also stores another important vitamin in minute concentration, that is vitamin E, nothing but tocopherol. And it also stores minute concentration vitamin K, the chemical name is phylloquinone. Okay. Then liver also stores another water soluble vitamin, that is vitamin B12, whose chemical name is cyanocobalamin. Okay. So we know that vitamin B12 is not available in any plant products. Very minute concentration it may be there, or it may be available in some of the animal products. Especially in order to absorb this B12 vitamin, there is an important factor present in the gastric juice called caseal intrinsic factor. So this caseal intrinsic factor is involved in the absorption of vitamin B12 from some of the animal substances what you take. Okay, but in general this B12 vitamin is synthesized by the intestinal bacteria and stored in the liver. So like that vitamin B12, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, all these vitamins can be stored in the liver. That's why it is the storage house of fat soluble vitamins as well as one of the important water soluble vitamins, right? That's about the storage functions of the liver. Then next one, the last one is nothing but special functions of the liver. So what are the special functions of the liver? So liver performs several special functions. If you take those special functions, here liver has got biggest macrophages called Kupffer cells. These Kupffer cells will kill the microorganisms that invade into the body, especially through food. Whatever the harmful substance or the toxic substances will enter, or the harmful microorganisms enters, those will be killed with the help of these Kupffer cells. So that is the special function of the liver. The next second important special function is liver can act as a heat regulator. Okay. With the help of two important metabolic pathways like glycogenolysis, glycogenesis. So with the help of those two important functions, this particular liver is able to produce heat in such a way it will be involved in the regulation of body temperature, right? So that is about the special function. Then this liver is also involved in the production of blood. That means it acts as a hemopoietic organ. Hemopoietic organ. And the liver is also involved not only in the production of blood but also in the destruction of RBC. Okay, the erythrocytes gets destructed up to certain extent even in the liver also. So that particular process is called erythroclastis. Okay, so erythroclasis you can say. So in this erythroclasis mechanism, liver is also involved. That is the destruction of RBC. So during the destruction of this RBC only, liver is able to produce two important bile pigments also. In fact, three: bilirubin, biliverdin, and also urochrome. Okay. So these three pigments are produced during the destruction of RBC that takes place in the liver. And here this the bile pigments, bilirubin, biliverdin, will be sent out of the body along with undigested food, so that undigested food gets color because of bilirubin, biliverdin, whereas the urochrome will be sent to the kidney, and along with urine the urochrome will be released outside, and urine get color because of urochrome, and undigested food gets color because of bilirubin, biliverdin. Okay, so that is about some of the important special functions that are performed by the liver. Okay, so these are overall functions of the liver, and it is a multi-purpose organ involved in secretion, synthesis, metabolic activities, storage of various substances as well as vitamins. Then it is also performing special functions in the body. Okay, so this is about the functions of the liver. So I hope you are able to follow each and every point. Make a note of this. These are all functions are related to various other chemical activities that are going on in the human body. That's why with a full depth knowledge or in-depth concept, okay, if you have, definitely you can crack any kind of question that is going to be appeared in the examination. And the liver is also involved. Finally, I can say that in the formation of the hepatoportal system. Hepatoportal system. Here, hepatoportal system. Portal means, generally we know that there are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and blood capillaries. Arteries carry oxygenated blood from heart to body parts, and veins carry deoxygenated blood from body parts to the heart, and both are connected by the blood capillaries. That means generally arteries are the distributing blood vessels, veins are the supplying blood vessel. But here a vein that can act as both supplying as well as distributing. Okay, so collecting. So the vein that is involved in both distribution and collection, okay, that particular vein is called portal vein. Since this portal vein has linked with the liver, it is called hepatoportal vein, because the cells present in the liver are called hepatocytes, and the study of liver is called hepatology. Okay, so hepatoportal vein is involved in the regulation of glucose in the body. Okay, so that is also another key point, remember. So this much depth concept is with you, definitely you can answer any question. So thank you for watching. I wish you all the best.
SNS Publications వారి పుస్తకాలను ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఆన్లైన్లో కూడా ఆర్డర్ చేయొచ్చు. You can just log on to www.sonlinebooks.com. ఈ వెబ్సైట్లోకి మీరు లాగిన్ అయ్యి మీకు కావాల్సిన పుస్తకాన్ని ఆన్లైన్ ఆర్డర్ చేయొచ్చు, అండ్ మీ డోర్ స్టెప్ దగ్గరికి డెలివరీ కూడా చేయడం జరుగుతుంది.